Welcome to a new video, ladies and gentlemen. It's late, there's people sleeping here, so I'm going to have to keep my voice down. I'm going to try to make this video quick and short and to the point. A lot of people contact me asking me, how can I start on this journey of naturalism? How can I get healthier? What are some basic steps? This system can be very, very confusing, ladies and gentlemen, and it can actually install a lot of doubt programs into your mind, and it can make you second guess your own intuition on how to go about getting healthy or manifesting things in your life, whatever it is. So removing stress from your life is key. That is one way that I would recommend starting on a path of healing, to get rid of the stress and the self-doubt and all of the programs that are working in your mind that are against you. So we've become kind of addicted to negative thinking, a lot of us. I'm not saying everyone has, but most of us here in the West have some form, usually multiple forms of self-doubt and just negative thinking. Going into your mind and attempting to cleanse those through certain interventions, which I'm going to talk about here on the YouTube channel in the near future. This is very beneficial. Removing stress. I talked about this in a recent video about shamanism, and I'm going to talk about shamanism in the near future. I'm going to talk about it more, because that's a very important thing. It can be, at least. But removing stress and just eating a more naturalistic diet, start whittling out the processed foods. Processed foods create an inflammatory response within your physiology, and when you're highly inflamed, it's not uncommon to feel down, to feel depressed, to feel agitated, and to kind of have malaise and just have a negative outlook on life. I think a lot of people's depression here in the Matrix is directly linked, not necessarily completely, but directly linked to their bad diets. And here in the West, it's very common to find people eating junk food, to find people eating food that, has undertaken just a massive processing process and had a lot of its minerals stripped out of it. Excessive amounts of glyphosate and herbicides, pesticides, larvicides, insecticides have been found in many of the foods that people eat on a day-to-day basis here in the West. So you have to start looking at food for what it is, and food is fuel, ladies and gentlemen. When you finally realize and accept the fact that food is designed to fuel the human organism and fuel the mind, it'll make it much easier for you to go about making better decisions with what it is you put into your system. Realize that you are going to be able to have a much better life. You're going to be able to achieve your dreams much easier. You are going to be able to enjoy life much better, ladies and gentlemen, if you start putting the right fuel into your system. Now, I've done multiple experiments over the years. I've experimented with so many different diets. I know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence. I know what it's like to eat a standard American diet filled full of garbage. I mean, think about it. Standard American diet, SAD, sad. It's a sad diet. When I ate a standard American diet, I felt like shit. I looked like shit. My decision making was nowhere near as good as it is now. My spiritual life was kind of hindered. These foods are not designed to be put into your system unless you want to go about eating those, and that's fine. I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't eat. I'm telling you what I would recommend if I was in your situation and you wanted to get healthier, because again, I've been on both sides of the fence. Some people want to go through life and eat a bunch of bullshit. I can't change you. It's up to you to make the decision to change if it, resonates with you or not. This message is not for everyone. I know only a certain percentage of the people that find these videos will be able to utilize them to their benefit. And that's why I create these videos. I want to be a light in your life. I want to help be kind of a messenger on your journey. But it's up to you to make the decision. So again, some people aren't going to want to eat healthy. Some people have literally made it up in their mind. They have a belief system that's operating unconsciously where they think that eating unhealthy is synonymous with being like a martyr, with suffering, whereby you actually think that the meaning of life is to constantly satiate your programmed taste buds. And this is perpetuated in the media. They've got you by the balls, ladies and gentlemen. If you think that being healthy is boring, if you think that being healthy means that you have to sacrifice your enjoyment in life, you have the program installed. Getting healthy allows you to enjoy more out of life. It allows you to break free from negative thoughts, addictions, you name it. It allows you to conquer lesser energy and become the master of yourself. This is mental mastery. Diet has a lot to do with mental mastery. It's not all of it, but You are the king or queen of your own reality. And it's just, I'm amazed at how much progress I've made just by changing my diet over the years. It's taken me a long time to find out what works best for me. And I want to help you find what works best for you. So augmenting your diet, start going to a steam room or invest in a sauna. That can be very relaxing. Start doing yoga. Yoga and stretching your body, ladies and gentlemen, can be so beneficial because we store a lot of our tension from our negative thinking in our muscles. This is called muscle memory. When I first started undertaking the purging process of kind of a modified shamanic system of self-healing here in this matrix, I started to delve into my subconscious layers and my unconscious layers of my mind and my physicality. And I found massive amounts of tension stored in my body that I had carried the tension in my mind and my body for so long that I thought being that stiff and being that tense all the time was normal. A lot of my healing that I undertook, and I'm still undertaking, ladies and gentlemen, is going into my muscles and releasing the tension and releasing it from my mind. Our mind sculpts our physical body, ladies and gentlemen. And when you have a lot of unconscious stress, when you have stress that you're suppressing, when you have no ability to let go of the burdens that you're carrying, we store it in our body. Our mind has an intimate connection with our muscles, our bones, you name it. That's why a lot of people, like if you go and just touch someone's shoulder who has a lot of stress in their life, like touch their muscles, they're usually very tense. When you start to roll the muscles out, when you start to remove those knots, oftentimes it causes such a profound relief, and that can lead to a massive healing. Our bodies weren't designed to be this stiff. That's what I'm getting at. Now I'm trying to make this video short and sweet. So a steam room can be very beneficial because it can induce states of peace and detoxification. Steam rooms, ladies and gentlemen, allow your pores to open. It allows you to sweat, and sweating is one of the greatest ways to get the poisons out of your system. Exercise is great. But let's focus right now on diet really quickly before we wrap this video up. Changing your diet from a standard American diet to a more naturalistic diet is how you're going to have more of a naturalistic consciousness. You see, right now, many people are operating on a day-to-day basis while they're being influenced by the unnatural constituents in the foods that they're eating. These unnatural constituents affect the health of your cells, damages your mitochondria, which is basically, in layman's terms, the engine of your cells, The cytoplasm gets damaged by bad food. Your cells use liquid to communicate between all 100 trillion plus of your cells. So when you eat foods that coagulate your cytoplasm, when you eat foods that coagulate your cellular fluids, you've now directly hindered and damaged your cellular network's messaging system. When you start to get all the junk out of your diet, you start to uplift those tissue or your cellular fluid. You start to uplift your tissues. When you get on the distilled water, you start to detoxify all this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. Now, people ask me all the time, really quickly, I just want to touch upon this, how I go about restructuring my distilled water. I add minerals back to it 9 times out of 10. I don't always do that, but this is one product that you can use. This is the Omica brand Cell Balancer. It consists of fulvic acids, bioflavonoids, and trace minerals. And it's a proprietary blend of fulvic minerals, ancient inland ocean minerals, seaweed-derived calcium and magnesium, and a bioflavonoid complex. So 32 drops diluted in water or other beverage. You can add 20 drops per gallon of water to restructure it or more. You can revitalize water by doing that. I don't know if I have this in my Amazon store. I believe I do. I love this company. Just start making little steps, ladies and gentlemen. No one's asking you to be perfect. Stop approaching everything with such a perfectionistic, hyper neurotic, if you will, mentality where you think that everything has to be done perfect or else you can't do it at all. Just make baby steps. I did it. I continue to make baby steps. If you drink 6 sodas a day, you could start drinking 4 instead and replace the other 2 with hibiscus. Just make it enjoyable. Increase your health by making subtle changes. Subtle changes, ladies and gentlemen, can affect the entire canvas of your life, can affect the entire picture, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. I try to speak in metaphors. I try to speak symbolically because the language of the subconscious is symbolism. And if I can get through to you symbolically, oftentimes that means I can make a massive, or I can affect you on a much more profound level, as opposed to if I just come at you with a bunch of intellectualism and repeating factoids and whatnot. Life is highly symbolic. Making subtle changes. Reclaiming the throne of your health. Pick up the wand of the healer and make progress. Pick up the sword of the healer and carve away all of the dross, the unnecessary material in your life, ladies and gentlemen. I believe in you. I want to see you succeed. But little subtle changes over time can produce massive effects. This is called manipulation of, your destiny, so to speak. You see, if you continue to follow a negative pattern, we understand through the laws of repetition that you reap what you sow. Input equals output. And if you continue to put bad things in, if you continue to input bad data into your life, you are going to receive that through the law of cause and effect. You can be a magician of sorts. You can change the outcome and make it a favorable outcome by changing the quality of input that leads to the output. You can put in good input and experience you can put in good input and experience great output. This is where the whole you reap what you sow thing comes. Let's try that one more time. This is where the phrase you reap what you sow comes from. It's like in astrology, a Saturn return, where every 30 years, give or take, Saturn swings back around. It's the slowest moving of the 7 traditional planets. It comes back to a place in your birth chart where it was when you were born. It's said that, you reap what you sow, because Saturn is the Lord of patience. He's the Lord of time. He either uplifts you based on your actions, what you've put into your life, or he drags you back down again, and you have to go through an entire cycle again. I have a video on the Saturn return. If you go into my video and archive and type in Saturn, it'll come up. In occult circles, a Saturn return, when the Saturn finally comes back around to where it was when you were born, that signifies when you truly become an adult. Excuse me. You're not an adult when you're 18, ladies and gentlemen. You are an adult when you go through a true Saturn return. So time can be used to your benefit. Again, no one's asking you or telling you that you have to be perfect. Some people have contacted me here on this channel and said, but I can't do it all at once. So don't harbor a defeatist mentality. Just because you can't get from point A to point B overnight doesn't mean that you can't get there. This system has taught people that if you can't have it now, then it's not even worth it. And that's how you've adopted these defeatist programs. It's very sad to see, and I've harbored them throughout my life, but I've defeated them. You have to become okay with where you're at currently, and you have to become okay with the fact that you're going to this is a journey, ladies and gentlemen. I know the Western model of health. I know with all the pills and whatnot that give you an instant fix. I know with all of the bullshit programming on the television that tells you if you buy this product, you can get this immediately, or you can have this immediately. It's not how it works. Again, we exist in a world, a 3-dimensional world that operates on a subconscious level of cause and effect. Input equals output, folks. I want to see you have a great output, but you're going to have to manipulate your input, and you're not going to get good output if you just sit there and continue to not make progress. You're not going to get a good output if you can continue to be idle. So forward momentum is the key to health. Becoming okay with making baby steps, becoming okay with who you are in this current moment, regardless of where you're at. That's how you make progress. But it's not an excuse. I'm not saying to just accept who you are now and not think that you have any, evolution to do. We all have to evolve. This is why we age so quickly. This is why we start to forget things, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the human being doesn't live past 150. It's because we don't have forward momentum. We continue to engage in a life that doesn't cause our minds and our bodies to be encouraged to continue to grow. We're disconnected from nature and the shamanic nature. We're disconnected from the shamanic reality of nature. We exist in a concrete jungle, a reality where telephone poles are erected next to trees. We exist in an electromagnetic blanket ladies and gentlemen, and the body and the mind can still make it past 100. We live in a highly toxic, unnatural environment, yet we still live for prolonged periods, or we still live for profound lengths of time. Excuse me, my mouth isn't keeping up with my mind. Imagine what we could live, or how long we could live, and how magical our lives could be if we regain the power of our mind, our innocence that was taken from us by the Matrix. And I said in a recent video that innocence is that state of consciousness that you come into this world with, where you haven't adopted all these belief systems that just destroy your life and destroy your ability to manifest things and have what you want. Because the subconscious mind operates, ladies and gentlemen, on beliefs and symbolism. You've been hit over the head with symbols. You've been hit over the head with beliefs and impressions from other people. People have told you what they think is best for you, and you've accepted it. It's time to come back into your power. It's time to reclaim the throne of health. It's time to hold the wand of the healer. It's time to pick up the sword, ladies and gentlemen, of the magician. It's time to start using the elements to your benefit. It's time for you to awaken to the truth that you can have a much better, healthier life. So this pretty much concludes the video on how to go about getting healthy. Just start. Make baby steps. Stop approaching everything in life with such a defeatist mentality. Stop thinking that if you can't have what you want now, that you shouldn't even put effort into it. All good things are going to require effort, ladies and gentlemen. And all good things are going to expose you to hardship, because the hardships that we conquer is what defines our will. It builds character. Peace be with you all.